Welcome back, friends. Thanks for being here. Steve with another DOS Tools series, making DOS livable, one video at a time. This is a follow-up from last week's video. If you haven't seen it, it's up there. And it's down there too. So take a look at that one. Come back and watch this one. It'll be awesome. Oh, yeah. Check this thing out. Thanks. What do we got? What's next? Rearge. After rearge. WPLANY. This program must be run under Windows. Well, this is not a Windows video. This is a DOS 3.3 video, so we'll have to revisit that. Ghost 4, Ghost 5 is the newer versions of Ghost 3.1. Let's see how it improved its looks. Not much. Ooh, this one was cracked by the Frozen crew in 1997. Load, dump, disk, peer, write, fprint. Oh, we've got a menu. And you could create a hard disk image over a parallel port. So this could be a local server, or it has not found a NetBIOS driver, so it doesn't know anything about NetBIOS, won't let you use that. And LPT slave, LPT master, so you could become the master or you could become the slave, and then you could connect that way and create your image. Excellent. Got a little bit better. Ghost 5. Oh, it's graphical now. And if we had a working mouse, we might even have mouse support. And it's all the same options for what disks to clone and where to clone them to, and then some options. Write buffering, sure. No int13, reboot, spanning, auto name, allow 64K fat clusters, ignore CRC errors, override size limit, and image read buffering. Cool. Not going to change any options. I didn't try Alt-Q in Ghost 3 to exit. Okay. So as Ghost got better, I remember that instead of just copying bitwise every single bit on the hard disk, so if you had a, I don't know, let's say you had a 4 gig hard drive or a 10 gig hard drive, it would make a 10 gig image file because it would copy bit by bit off of the file system. As Ghost improved, it moved from doing that to copying only the actual data out of the file system. So on a 10 gig hard drive, it wasn't uncommon for a brand new machine to only have like 200 megs used. So you'd have a 200 meg image file that you had to transfer across the network for storage options or across the parallel port for storage options instead of a 10 gig file. If I said that right. 300 megs instead of 10 gigs. And then they also built in some compression, so your 300 megs got compressed down even farther to 150 megs or whatever. So they were making advances. And it was fantastic. And before Ghost came out, we actually made our own version using the long file name backup command and pkzip. So it would create a text file that had all of the long file names, because I don't think pkzip understood long file names at that point. And then pkzip would compress it, and then we would transfer the archive file across the network after doing a format C:/S, and we would then unzip the zip file, and then we would restore the long file names. And then Ghost came along and we didn't have to do that anymore. MI is memory info from Central Point Software. Central Point Software made PC tools, and Mark is in there twice because we ran Mark before, and that was the thing that made a mark of the memory location. And MI was a little bit better than what you would see at the bottom of check disk for sure. And there's probably some switches. Yep. MI/A. Yeah, so it gives you a ton more data. Conventional memory only, device driver list, MI/D. Ooh, there we go. All kinds of useful stuff that you would have needed. You were trying to optimize your system. Let that little hot rod go by. And the car without a muffler go by. Filter hide unprintable characters, list the EMS, XMS handles. We don't have any EMS or XMS drivers loaded, so it wouldn't know anything about that. mi/h. Yep, don't know anything about it. mi/o for the other display format. Yeah, so it's just a little bit more information. The parameters of the commands that were run and where they were run from. mi/q. List the hooked vectors. mi/v. Yep, there they are. Anything else? Nope, we are done with that. All right, so maybe it was free. Mark and free. Nope. All right, there's mi. What's next? Where am I? Mi. QPV is another image file. QPV probably stands for Quick Picture Viewer. Bugs. Is bugs a folder? Nope. Bugs of PC port. Troubles with keys. Filtered view hangs in closed pipe because error is set. Windows 95 will not delete directory if empty, as it does not return e not empty, but e no access. I don't know what program this is talking about. Another long file name. Admin.bat. Entity profiles administrator desktop. Oh, yep. So this is from Windows NT days, and it was a pain in the butt to get into your desktop folder. I like to store the stuff that I'm working on my desktop, like most people do when they're working on their desk. They put stuff down on their desktop. And if you open up a command prompt and you want to navigate to your desktop, it ain't easy. It was a pain in the butt. Only because of how much you had to type in. So that was a quick way to get to the desktop of the Windows NT administrator. Weekday. Weekday probably is a batch file utility that returns an error code, error level. We'll probably find a batch file where I use that somewhere. That said what day of the week it was. Like 1 for Monday, 2 for Tuesday, 3 for Wednesday, etc. So I could tell what day of the week it was and print on the screen like, today is Wednesday, the 15th of November, or whatever. It's not Wednesday, the 15th of November. That's a future date. All right, TGL. The Graphics Link Plus. We make software the old-fashioned way. We invent it. Convert between, oh, this is awesome. This is like image magic for DOS. Convert between file formats, dither trace images, scale images, print images, image utilities, because this isn't already an image utility. Check Mac binary editor. Delete image files, activate DOS shell. Nope. Not for sale. HSC software evaluation version, not for sale. Okay. Alter source target directories, reconfigure program options, and exit TGL. If we had some graphics, we could do that. Have a pleasant day. Why, thank you, TGL. Thank you, TerraVision. All right, so there's TGL. MM is a batch file that I wrote that had a lot of little tiny utilities in it. So move, the better typist, quit, park the hard disk heads, quit. All right, so what would happen is you had a hard disk that had spinning platters in it. Remember that? That was a thing, spinning platters inside of hard disks. And the thought process, which was true, was that if the system got jarred for any reason and the heads weren't properly parked, the head could literally crash into the platter and scratch the platter and damage the head and damage the platter, or any of the above combinations of anything. And what you would do with this park command is you would move the heads to a safe area where if that did happen, it wouldn't hurt anything. They would move It's kind of like putting the tone arm on a record player. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? On the little stand instead of leaving it on the record. If somebody bumps the table, you scratch the record. So there's a place to land the head or a place to land the tone arm on the record player. So that's what this thing did. And then, you could turn the machine off and kick it across the room and it wouldn't hurt the hard disk anymore. Newer versions of hard disks have this kind of auto return feature where as they power down, the head automatically moves to the landing zone all by itself, and you don't have to do this anymore. Convenience for CP backup, central point backup. So let's take a look and see what this is. So M stood for macro. I'm in the wrong folder. All right, so if you didn't type anything in, so first thing we do is we turn off the echoing to the screen. If %1 dot equal equal dot, go to help, which means if you didn't type anything in, go to the help screen and print that. And then you could go to %1. So that was kind of a cheat where I just told you straight up, just go there, do whatever it was. SOS Computer Services, my fledgling company. I won an award for that. That was about all I got out of that. But it was neat. All right, so the move command would print up a nice little banner. It would print some coping files. Oh, this is so stressful, coping with these files. Fix that. Copy, so you do M space MVE space file name 1 space file name 2, and it would quietly copy that in the background. And then it would delete the original file, and then it would say files removed. And there's no error checking in there to say like the file didn't get moved or the target file name is already in existence or anything. It would just move it, and if it worked, it would delete it, and if it didn't work, it would delete it. So that gives you a hint of how old I was at the time. And the help screen wasn't updated, so there's this enter on, enter off. And looks like it's changing colors and text of the prompt using ANSI escape codes, and I don't have the ANSI sys driver loaded, so I can't do that. Enter on. Backup. Insert history disk in drive A and pause. And then it would run a command called is A ready to see if you actually did insert the floppy disk in the A drive. And then if error level 1, go to disk loop. So it would just sit there and wait for you to put the disk in the drive. And just tell you over and over and over again to put a disk in the drive and press any key to continue. Put a disk in the drive, press any key to continue. So you actually did put a disk in the drive. So I got a little bit better at making error checking stuff. Tell PC Tools where it exists. Go to the A drive. So the history disk probably had the backup command on it. Insert history disk in drive A and pause. Go to disk loop 2. There's probably some context that I'm missing because I don't know why I would want to put the history disk in twice, but I did. All right, copy everything to the A drive. Yep, and clear it and go to end. And so MM space M, because MM is the name of the batch file, space M would be the thing that triggered this command. I guess it would just type out multiple files. And then quit. Park the hard disk. Oh, flush the cache. Nice. And then park the hard disk and then say the hard disk was parked and pause without any output to the screen so you didn't know it was pausing. Yep, so there that is. No, I don't want to lose the changes. I want to save the fact that I fixed my typo from 30 some years ago. All right, there's MM. What's next? It moved to the end. So this is sorted by date last accessed. All right, so edit.bat. I don't know why I did that. So if you type in edit and a file name, it'll bring up my editor instead of the DOS editor. So this is probably to get rid of the DOS editor from DOS 5 later on in the future. Release. Ah, this is the opposite of release. Let's see if that's still in there. MI. Release is the opposite of mark. Memory released above the last mark. Now there's only 2 marks. Then there was 1. And then there was none. So that's what you would do with this program. You would type in mark. Let's see, is the... Yeah, so sidekick is not in there. Okay, so let's do mark, which marks the current memory position. Then we do sidekick, SDM. What was that? SKM. SKM brings in sidekick. We hit Control Alt. And there is the calculator that we like. Okay. Then we do MI. And you can see that there is command com, the mark, and the almost 30K of sidekick. But we still got 568K of conventional memory free. So that's not too bad. Now we do release. Memory released above the last mark. We do MI. And mark is gone and sidekick is gone. And if we try to launch sidekick, we can't. So that's what that was for. I told you some of this stuff would become apparent as we got deeper into the list. All right, what's next? That was release. MC, Midnight Commander help file. We haven't gotten to Midnight Commander yet. README. This is the port of Midnight Commander. So this is the README file for Midnight Commander. I don't have a page down key on this keyboard. Oh, you had to build it yourself? Cool. All right, so there's the README file for Midnight Commander AV. Arg file viewer. Let's do arg a test.arg kd.exe and let's put 2 in there. Is a ready.com. See if that works. Yep. AV test. And I spelled it wrong again. Arg, not arg. Yeah, so it views the arg file. Arg by itself. Verbosely list. Yeah, so AV test.arg. And then arg-v test.arg. Oops, not a dash. Yep, there it is. All right, so there's AV to do. This is another text file. So the to-do and the bugs and the readme and the fact probably all go with Midnight Commander. Let's look at, yep, make most file names common for OS2 and NT. Write the VFS, write a better documentation, write a better canonify path name. Cool. Source control before there was source control. FZC. Fast zip cracker, I bet that's what that is. Yep, fast zip cracker. So this would try to unlock a zip file that you locked with a password. Let's see if we can make one of those. PK zip. 2 for more options. Store path names. Scramble with password. -S. Q. Quit. PK zip. Test.zip, kd.exe, -s, toads. All right, PK, 8486 CPU detected using the normal compression. PK unzip space, test.zip. Warning, skipping encrypted file, kd.exe. I can't get my file back? What? All right, so FCC. Test.zip. fzc. Still can't spell right. fzc test.zip. Zep. All right, fzc by itself, and we'll do it by the menus. Brute force cracking. It gives me a test. fzc space b space test.zip. Not enough or too many parameters for the selected function. All right, fzc b test.zip. Let's try 8 characters. Valid character set specification. All right, let's try it again. Character set is one or more of the following 4 letters: A, capital A, 1, bang. Okay, so I think we need to do AA. Not enough. Zip 2.x encrypted files. It's 2 for the W method, 3 for the B method, and T one. And 3 for the B and T ones. That's 204G. 204G was the version to have. Right, pk zip test.zip star.star. We forgot the password. And the disk is not full. All right, that's better. fzc b test.zip 8 characters, lowercase and uppercase. And that's what it's going to do. What is that? 6,750,000 tries per second. And it's just a dictionary attack. All right. Nothing inside of test.zip that we need that we don't already have. But that's how the fast zip cracker works. And it wasn't really all that fast. It was just doing its thing. It was probably fast for then because there wasn't anything else like it. All right. Norton Ini note. Note installed successfully. Dynamic memory control. Oh, hey, look at that. Does the same thing. Note. Puts one of them in. Let's do SKM. Let's do memory info. So there's the note and the SKM, and let's do free note. And let's do MI. And it does the same thing as mark and release. So there you go. That's 2 found. QPV is the QPV.cfg is the configuration file for quick picture viewer, MC. Midnight Commander. This program cannot be run in DOS mode. So it's Midnight Commander for Windows even. Awesome. And why does it have a batch file? Okay, that's useful. I probably set those colors and then I was like, I'm just too tired to turn this back because it really doesn't matter all that much. Lose. Nice. All right, I don't know what lose did other than lock up my machine. I think that it is the unzoo program. No. Syntax, no. File spec, command. Ooh. No star.exe, dir. Yep. No star.exe, dir/w. So what it does is it temporarily marks all the exe files as hidden, runs the command, and then unmarks them as hidden. So it's a way of filtering out file names and see they're all back. Pretty cool. Unerase. And I gotta spell it right. Oh, and this is not graphical, even though it looks all nice and pretty like it's graphical. So there's that test zip file that we deleted, and let's view it. Yep, starts with PK. It's a PK zip file. And let's see what the help menu looks like. Help is not available. I think this was this Central Point Software PC Tools or was this Norton Utilities? I can't tell because it's been so long since I've used either one of them, but this was when you got into the later versions and they started remapping the VGA character set in ROM to make it look even prettier than it did before, make it look even more Windows-like even though it was a DOS program. So let's unerase the test.zip file. And there it is. There's a ton of stuff here that you can do from the file menu. View current directory, change drive, change directory, select group, data types, search for lost names. Let's see what's next. All right, yeah, so we were working on unerase. And the way that DOS did the erasing of a file was pretty interesting, and this is why tools like this existed. What DOS would do is it would go into the file allocation tables at the beginning of the disk, and it would say, this file is no longer here, but it wouldn't actually remove the file from disk. It would just say that that disk space is available for being able to be written over. And the unerase program would notice that there was a file structure on disk that didn't have a leading letter in its file name and give you the option to restore that back. Totally unplanned for. It was just a real efficient way of removing files because you didn't have to do any of the work. You just made the space available and it would just get overwritten the next time. Unix to DOS, I bet, is a way to convert text files from Unix to DOS format. And this has got an even prettier command line help than the one that I created for my program. And this was pretty by DOS standards. DOS standards had some pretty interesting colors, and it was really just trying to get people's attention, and color was brand new. 1995, color's been around for a while at this point, but it was just a way to set yourself apart. When we used to write installer programs for Windows NT 3.5 and Windows 4, remember how it had the blue to black color fade gradient? We used to see who could make the prettiest color fade because, you know, we're dorks. Let's see. Oh, and it didn't set my color back. How nice of it. I'm stuck with this for a while. That's fine. All right, got to cut this one short again. There's just way too much DOS here to go around. We've got to pace you guys. One day at a time, folks. One day at a time. So this one we did some more compression. We did unerase. We did some more ghost work. Oh, we did some cracking too. I mean, it wasn't successful, but we already knew what the password was anyway. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being awesome. We'll see you in the next one.